So, we didn't get to have our Palm Sunday procession this year, with or without a donkey. But even if we had, would you have had any real sense of what it might have been like when Jesus came to Jerusalem at the start of his last week? No? Well, our town is just the teeniest bit different from the Middle East. But try to imagine yourself right there in the crowd that day. I know, crowd. Remember those? The streets are narrow, uneven and steep. It's hot and it's dusty, and there are many extra visitors in this great metropolis. All of a sudden, there's a bit of a commotion over by one of the city gates. A small bunch of people are pushing their way through the crush, even in this busy place. It's a slightly unusual sight. You climb up on a flight of steps behind you to see if you can make it out. It looks like people are waving branches or something. How odd. And singing or chanting. There seems to be a noise coming like a wave up the street towards you. Scrambling back down from the steps then, you strike up a conversation with the people close by. Hey, what is it? Who are those people down there? What's going on? It's the rabbi from Galilee. You must have heard about him. Is he some sort of superstar then? People say he's the holiest man in all of Judea. Oh, the high priest will be thrilled. How did he get that reputation? They say he's a great preacher. He'll teach anyone who'll listen all about God. Not in the synagogue or the temple, I bet. I really couldn't say. But a friend of ours says this chap knows really what he's talking about. It's as if he knew God personally or something. Not like the scribes then. They never sound very convincing to me. His followers look like proper ragbag, don't they? All those women running after him. What on earth is that he's riding? That must be the smallest donkey I've ever seen. You can hardly even see it. Someone up there says he borrowed it from his uncle's place. Never been ridden before today. And it isn't even his donkey. Oh well, beats walking, I suppose. And isn't there a passage in the prophets that says, can't be him. Just look over there at that lot climbing up trees to get a better look. What's that they're shouting? Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Struth! Some of them even dropping their coats on the road in front of him like he was a king or something. But I was just saying that, wasn't I? About what the prophet said. And there's a mob up the street shouting, Jesus for King. Hope the soldiers don't hear him. Looks like an ordinary sort to me. Nothing to write home about. Though some are saying he's got incredible powers. Making blind people see, fixing the legs of people who can't walk, feeding a huge crowd with just the one flatbread. Someone said he even raised a local chap from the dead. I'm sure that can't be true. So what's he called then, this holy man? Jesus, I think. Comes from up Nazareth way. Where? Never heard of it. Apparently the priests have already got it in for him. They don't like what he's been doing, making them look silly and all. He's upset a lot of religious types already. The Romans won't want any trouble, not on the festival, especially with the old freedom fighters up to their tricks. But I reckon it's Jesus. Well, he could be a good man. Maybe he could. Maybe he could be the answer to all our problems. Maybe God is on his side, after all. It's got to be good news. Something to shout about, eh? Quick, quick, he's coming this way. Pass me that branch. Hosanna, 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 ho, 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 Hosanna. Well, I don't know about a king, But he looks sort of purposeful and so calm, even with all this racket and pushing and shoving going on. I hope God is on his side. He's gonna need him. Mark my words, he won't even last a week. I wonder how all those people cheering turned out to be the very same ones who gathered just a few days later to demand Jesus' death. It's funny how people love a winner, but the minute they start looking like a loser, the mood changes. And after all, if the priests thought he was dangerous, well, maybe they were right. But perhaps not quite in the way that most people imagined. Jesus came to challenge the hearts of human beings, and so his message had wider implications for many things: justice and prejudice, cruelty, empire building, poverty, corruption, greed, selfishness, and pride. The trouble was that most people, just like us, couldn't see beyond their own interests, couldn't break down the barriers of their own personal fears. So they just went along with whoever could shout the loudest or wield the biggest stick. We might be appalled that even those who didn't shout for him to die, including his best friends, just kept their heads down and left Jesus to his fate. But maybe we'd better ask, if we had been out there, right there, when Jesus rode into town on his borrowed micro donkey, we might not have been just as blind to God's own Son, right there on our own streets.